So we have one person who's in Massachusetts, so we actually stream it, and then I usually record it and try to put it on our website. So if you guys want to take this, then you can, well, our YouTube channel. When you're done, we're going to keep it there too, so you can get a speech.
I don't think he heard too.
Keith, well, hold on. Here we go. You ready?
I love to do this. I love to do this.
That's the other reason why I moved from over there. It's because he's
Denton Kiwanis, that's us. That's who we are. A song. Fritz is going to pick our song. Pledges Daniel. Jerry has the prayer. And objects Mark. So, Fritz, what are we going to sing?
Well, it's guess still Independence Day, so we sing, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Play ball.
Oh, somebody had to say it.
All right, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. I can't ever hear to another
Father, we thank you for this beautiful day you've given us. Thank you for our free country that you allow us to live in. Thank you for this club and have us to serve the community, especially the youth of this world. Guide us and direct us in all that we do. In the name of your Son, Jesus, I pray.
Amen.
Objects. Do you promise to the giving of spiritual rather than the material values of life, to encourage the daily living of the golden rule in all human relationships, to promote the adoption and application of our social, business, and professional standards, to develop by precept and example a more intelligent, aggressive, and serviceable citizenship, to provide through Kiwanis clubs with practical means to form enduring friendships, to render altruistic service, and to build better communities, to cooperate in creating and maintaining that sound public opinion and high idealism which makes possible the increase of righteousness, justice, patriotism, and goodwill.
Very good, very
Go.
good. Yes, I see a guest right here. Tell us your name.
I'm Carter. I'm the Vice President of PHS.
Cool.
Very good. Nice to have you. Thank you.
And I have a guest. This is Tanya Hunt. Tanya, some of you old timers may remember that she was in Key Club and was Lieutenant Governor, graduating from Denton High School in 2010. She's all grown up now. She's been all around, managed a couple of hotels in the area, and currently she works for Discover Denton. And I have invited her to join Kiwanis. What do you think? Is that a good idea?
So let's vote on that now. Who says time to join?
Yay!
You're in, Tanya. You hand us the background check, right?
She didn't want to sit in my lap.
I don't want to do it either, sir. Thank you.
Oh, dear.
That's the test, Norm. We should have said yes.
Here, I will.
No, sit down. Lottery. Norm, who's going to winning ticket?
How many we got?
Today should be a good day for somebody. We only sold 4 tickets.
Oh.
So I'm gonna ask the gentleman in the brown shirt if he would come forward. I'm not gonna tell you what you're gonna do until you get here.
You wait till you took a big bite of food, yes.
Would you draw 1 ticket out of the pot and give us the last 3 numbers on the ticket before
Got a mouthful of taco over there.
Yeah.
taco food? The last 3 numbers.
105.
Ball.
Oh.
He only won because Betty wasn't here.
They dropped by 100 tickets.
All right.
I had 004.
Here we go. Winner, chicken dinner. Chicken dinner.
Bless you.
That's a good job.
That's elusive there.
Hey,
Nope.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Sorry. Better luck
Oh, look at
next
this
time.
slide. Lots of color. 41st turkey roll. November 18th, that'll be a part of our announcements. We all know about that. Show up for that. Look at this, guys. This is the float that should have won the 4th of July parade.
Yeah, definitely.
Look
I
at
think
all those
you're
winners
missing. You
Look
know,
at that noble picture on the right. Look at that.
there. That is fine, isn't it?
My goodness.
That is great. Those people look serious.
I'm ready to enlist after seeing that.
If you weren't there, I would want to warn you, if you sit in a boat and row like this going around the square, people will laugh at you. Don't do that. Unless you want to be laughed at. And they'll say, row harder, row faster. And your response has always got to be, well, we're pushing that truck.
There was one person who yelled out, "I don't think that's the way they did it." And I looked at him and said, "Hey man, we took off the motor. What do you want?"
Yeah. George Washington didn't have an even route either. No, him saying that.
No.
No, we had a good time at their place.
We're gonna demand a recount. We
Yeah.
don't think we won. It was so.
I did think it was funny that Berdia did send a message and say, "Hey, I'm sorry I didn't see you," and I'm like, "You're the one who judged us."
You're the judge. Wow. Wow. You know, I heard that a lot in high school from the girls. Sorry, didn't see you. Okay, announcements. Skyfield Turkey Roll Committee meeting today. Today. At St. David's Church. That's at noon. July 6th, first Thursday at my house. Number 4, Wellington Oaks Circle.
That would be tomorrow.
That's
That'd be tomorrow.
6:30 tomorrow. And I have a list
Wellington
there if
Oaks.
you want to put anything on it.
Okay.
If you didn't sign the list last week, just put on, Mark, we're going to hold that up. Just tell me if you eat hamburgers or hot dogs and how many.
I need to update my number.
Okay. And then, if you want something, I will have water. If you want something else to drink, bring it. I'll have hamburgers and hot dogs. And
Bring
fish.
cupcakes.
Oh, yes. Bring anything you want to eat or share. And it will be inside. Because I hear it's going to be hot. So,
How many people have you had?
we've got maybe, I've got 6 and I invited and they're all coming. So I think we may have 20 people.
Yeah.
So I thought that's kind of up to you guys. I got 6, I got 8 for sure, myself and my wife, and 6 I invited. So it's going to be interesting people there, even more interesting than some of us, possibly.
Can we go next door and rattle George out,
Yes.
out of his house?
George and Betty Jane are coming.
Is that right?
Yes. So I've got 8 people coming. So if nobody here shows up, I've still got 10 people.
I'm gonna start finding.
Wellington what?
No. You're
Wellington Oaks.
If I have to pick you up.
And of course, you're welcome to come as well.
Yes.
Of course.
So that's July 6th, which is tomorrow. July 12th, board meeting at noon, also at St. David's, I guess?
Yes.
Okay. 15th, quarterly adopt a spot cleanup at 10 a.m. That's a Saturday, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. August 3rd through 5th is the convention in Granbury. If you're not signed up, sign up for that and attend anything they have that says membership drive.
They only have a few more spots, from what I understand.
Oh, good. Those
I signed up, I think they had 50. I don't know, I think they're below 20 now.
And the 17th and 18th is our turkey roll. We have work for you there. Starts at Denton High School. That's our main fundraiser, the turkey roll. You ever seen the 1,000 bicycles going through Denton? That's us. That's us. None of us are right.
Yeah, we don't do drone shows.
We don't do but we do rally, rain or shine. So.
I think we eventually have drones carrying those riders.
And let's see, high school. Denton High School, anything report from Key Club or just, it's dead of summer.
Right.
We'll talk to you in October. Okay, time for our guest. We have some guests today from Denton County Beekeepers Association, Chelsea and Gary, guys. Come on up, it's all yours.
By the way. My name is Chelsea. I'm the secretary of the Denton County Beekeepers Association. This is my husband, Gary Barber. He was former president of the club.
Cool.
Our mission as a club is to share and inform the community about bees and beekeeping. We hold a general public meeting every second Tuesday of the month at Joseph A. Carroll's building. And today we're going to talk about bees.
Chelsea, I'm sorry, did you send me some slides?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just make sure, because I was like,
I was going to last night, but I chose to sleep instead.
okay. I understand. Sorry to interrupt. I was just like, just making sure.
It's okay. So I'm Gary. I'm past president of the Denton County Beekeepers Association. I'm currently a board of directors on the Texas Beekeepers Association. My brother and I, we own a commercial beekeeping company. We run about 1,500 hives in 6 counties in the area. We keep a pretty strong presence. I want to talk to y'all today about the bees, the club, and different things. Denton County's got a great feral bee population. It's really, the bees are finally making a little bit of a comeback, here, at least in the States. There's still a lot of challenges worldwide with the bees, but we're at the Denton County Beekeepers Association. We want to have a resource for people. In 2012, the state legislature did a really good thing. I know some of y'all might not believe that, but they allowed people to use bees for their 1D1 special valuation on their land. So anybody between 5 and 20 acres could start to use bees to get an agriculture exemption. And the legislature wanted to get more beekeepers, wanted to help the bees, wanted to promote that. And it has been a great success. We keep over 300 hives in this county alone, and those are all on yards that are helping people, with their ag exemption. And in the process, it's putting a blanket of pollinators over the county. Every hive we have, those bees are going 3 miles out, so they're getting 30 square miles. So, we have hives in Argyle, and they cover the whole town. So, it's a benefit to everyone's backyard gardens and row crops. There's a lot of stuff like that. And so it's made it a really popular thing. Some people will hire a bee wrangler or somebody to bring their bees out to provide the pollinators, or some people will do it themselves. We offer help with both. In the club, that's what we really want to be a resource for those new people, because a lot of people are diving right in with like 10 hives. I got 15 acres, and Crazy District says I need 10 hives, and I'm going for it. I got a lot of respect for them. It's hard to get in there. Bees, it's a challenge. There's a lot of stuff. According to USDA, the number one challenge is loss of habitat. And in Denton County, the number one crop is like shingles. That's all they're growing these days is shingles. So it's really getting hard on that, finding places. So getting these yards is really good, isn't it? It's a nice sanctuary for bees. come home, there's no pesticides, you know, because when they're out there, you have no idea what they're getting into. A bunch of challenges. So, anyways, in the club, so we offer benefits to joining the club if you want to be a member. We get free memberships at TBA as a new one. And there's also, we have a swarm notification. So a lot of beekeepers, when they're getting started, they'll want to go chase swarms, you know, and you can catch bees out there and you know, start to work on it. So there's a notification there so people can see the general public has a problem with bees. So they're sticking for that, the club. And the club will also match you up with a mentor. You definitely want an experienced beekeeper. There's a lot of information out there on beekeeping. I mean, I've learned most of mine. I mean, this is my 6th year to do it, 4th year professional. You know, when we started, it was YouTube, and you know, but you really want that local person because you watch the beekeeper in Canada, and you know, we got a little different climate here, so the activity is a little different than they do up there. So it's a lot different. You know, the club's good. It's great if you're just curious about bees or want to help out. It's that second Tuesday every Joseph Carroll building there, the AgriLife extension. I moved on from the club. With TBA, I'm on the legislative committee too. So a few things happened this year that were really good. We secured $1 million in funding for a state level bee agent. So that's going to be a PhD level. And so we got to start working with Texas A&M here in the next month or two. So we get that listing together because it's got to all be administered through AgriLife, I think. So that was a really good thing because right now we don't have a bee agent for the state. There's a lot of people that need cradle districts really need it. They have to make guidelines for these things. And it's across the state, so we can't make it like a guideline. You know, whereas in Beaumont, you could put 30 or 40 hives, you know, in 1 acre, and they're going to be fine. You do that out in West Texas, and they're going to starve. So you can't have, each county needs to have their own guidelines. So, you know, we're helping with that. We were able to clean up, there was some stuff in the ag code that got cleaned up in this session. They did try to limit some of the ag activity, making the bees on the property for 9 months out of the year as much as possible, just with their life cycle. I mean, we, as commercial beekeepers, we lose about 45% of our bees annually, so we're constantly fighting attrition. And, did you have a question, sir?
Yeah, how often do you raid your hives?
Oh, for honey? We don't, we're gonna do a little bit here, right now. The heat coming early, we need to make sure they have enough for the winter, because they need 40 to 50 pounds of honey each hive just to get them to the winter. So once everything starts drying up like in the spring, that's kind of our focus. If we were just gonna do honey here, we would starve. Our main source is providing pollinators. So every year we send our bees out to California in February for almond pollination. So it takes almost 2 million commercial hives annually. It's the largest ag migration in the world. And so we send them out there for 4 to 5 weeks. And when spring starts, we get a head start. It's very nutritious pollen for their young, and it pays really well. Those almond trees, they can't get crop insurance without the bees. One tree will yield 300 pounds of almonds. You put a beehive underneath it, it'll do 3,000 pounds. So it's a big thing. When we come down here, we sell a lot of bees. There's a huge market for bees. That when they changed the code in 2012, it just really opened it up. And, so we do that, and then we get them all out here. We make a little bit of honey. I mean, we sell some. We first actually at the visitor center, so Hazel's gone, so I need to figure out who the contact is. But yeah, visitor center, DNLP, and Golden Coffee are the ones in town that have our money.
So I'm sorry, you send your bees to California?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of wish I'd done some photos now, because everything we do is palletized, So we're not, most small scale people, they'll have them. We have 4 to a pallet, and when we go to California, we'll truck shows up at night, right at dusk, and we'll load them up at night because all the bees have come home. We'll stack 480 hives on the back of a flatbed semi, and then we put a big net over it. And the drivers, they have to be moving during the day. It's really critical. They'll overheat. We have that many together. They keep their core temperature 92 degrees like year round. And so you stack that many together, that core of that truck is really hot. We'll cook the bees. So that driver's got to be moving during the day. And US Dot, they're great because they give the drivers their ag exemption so they can go over their time limit. They can be running from sun up to sundown. So they can. We have to pay for it. It's tough. You got to have an experience driver. We were the cheap route this year. I'll never do that again. You know, you put your livelihood on the back of these trucks, and if it's a truck driver that's just used to like hauling toilet paper, he's not going to take it serious. Sorry, sir.
To supplement any nutrients?
Yes, we do have to supplement. Right now we're okay, but everything's drying up. So once the nectar goes away, we use number 55 corn syrup mainly to supplement. We used to use sugar, but we just got too big now, so we buy it by the toad. And then there's pollen substitutes as well. Sometimes they call it a dirt. When there's no nectar, no pollen, and there's nothing for the bees. So we're entering dirt right now. But they've got great stores from the spring, so they'll kind of cruise through that for the next couple of months before we really start to happen. But that's our thing. Once we hit September and October, then we really have to start working hard for building them up for California, because they have to. They won't pay you for any hive. It's got to be a strong hive. It's got to make great. They grade them by frames of bees, so front and back. So they have to be 8 frames of bees. That's very natural for this time of year, but very unnatural in February. So we're manipulating them. We're pulling the weak ones and merging to produce the modern ones. It's a constant thing. We're very seasonal, we go 7 days, sun to sundown, probably mid-March through mid-May. And then at the end of that, we'll take a couple weeks to be nocturnal, just delivering bees, all around the county. I mean, there's over 135 yards, so it takes us, we can usually get about 10 to 5 so it takes a while to get them all deployed.
So, is there, I guess 2 questions. One, are you hurting for needing places to put hives?
No.
Okay, so you got plenty. Okay.
When we first started, yes, but now I have a waiting list. I have to turn people away. Like usually every April and May, we just run out of capacity.
Because I noticed, so I was out at Station 7, right at the fire station out there, and somebody had just put a hive out there.
No, those are the city. We work with the city.
Okay, good. Because I talked to the firefighters and I'm like, what's that? And he goes, I don't know, somebody just came out and put it out here.
No,
So
that's a benefit of the club. I did not mention that.
Yes.
We offer youth scholarships. So we want to get teenagers into beekeeping, and so every year we'll have 4 or 5 kids that we'll set them up with their own beehives and safety equipment and a mentor. And the kids will all go through the program together. And then if they stuck with it and did good, we award them a hive at the end of the season. And the city was great. They let us use the fire station to run that program.
Cool.
Yeah, and they're doing really good things too. I don't know. I need to talk. It's been a while. I know the park superintendent for that, Drew. But they're starting to do a lot more no-more programs in the weekends. I don't know if y'all see what like Richardson does, but they've got a lot of wildflowers in the weekends. So the city's starting some pilot programs, and that fire station was one of the pilot programs.
Okay.
One of the things they want to cut down on the mowing costs, just how much they have to mow. It was a crazy amount. I got into beekeeping. I was on the parks board here then. We needed the city was redoing its integrated pest management documentation, so they were doing a focus group. So I was like, hey, we need to protect the pollinators and get a beekeeper. So,
I noticed this year that a lot of the wildflower areas weren't getting mowed like they used to.
that's on purpose. Yep.
that's cool.
Yeah, they want to help the pollinators. I know there's a little sign over by Morrison that talks about it. I've only seen that one little sign. It's right if you turn off of Bell to go back over by the MLK Center. Little sign there.
You said that it's difficult to have, if you're losing habitats, and I'm thinking to myself, I know there's, obviously there's a lot of growth and neighborhoods and housing being built, and yet I'm thinking, but this is North Texas, like, there's still a lot of green around here, so are those habitats, are they like, is it more than just having like, like a forest and a walking trail near Lake Roberts, like, do these have to have a specific, like, environment for their habitat?
Forage,
survive?
like when they come and make one of these big neighborhood and stuff, like a mesquite plant, a lot of people just think of flowers and wildflowers. The stuff that they really get, like the mesquite, the privet, early, it's the cedar elm, that early pollen. It's like the trees when they're blooming and stuff, that really benefits the bees a lot. Like, so they go bulldoze a mesquite flowers, so it takes a lot away. But a lot of it also regain habitat because a lot of people are moving from hay to bees. So there you go from like perfectly cultivated coastal grass to just letting it go wild and get the wildflowers back and whatnot and so on. So there's a change that happens there as well too.
Do you have any formal programs to train wannabe beekeepers?
Well, they're not formal, but the Denton County Beekeepers Association, we will show up to the meetings. We've got free classes. It's a 3-part that does over 3 meetings, and then we'll also set you up with a mentor. So that's crucial when you first get going. And just have somebody to text or call and say like, hey, I'm experiencing this.
So you do it personal.
But yeah, we do that.
Person to person.
All kinds of outreach. That's our main focus. You see, it's in our bylaws on the county level. We're not political. We don't lobby for anything. We just let that happen on the state level. So it's just all about outreach and education for us.
I had a question, like, so is it kind of like when you're talking to the newbies, like, it's not if you get stung, it's when you get stung?
Yes.
So this is how you kind of like, recover from that? I mean, I know you probably have the protective gloves and everything, but you talk a little bit about that for those who like, take these, but I don't get stung. Like,
Maybe half a dozen times just yesterday doing stupid stuff. I get stung all the time. It's
If you
you never get used to getting stung in the face. I'm always at least wearing a veil, but a lot of times I'll be in shorts and t-shirts and veil stuff. Depends on the bees. You gotta learn to read the room, but yet you're definitely gonna have all that safety gear in the truck. It depends on what we're doing. Some of the activities gets a little defensive and we'll wear a little more gear on those things.
So on that point, so is there ever a time that instead of trying to get rid of the bees, that that somebody who has a nest, let's say they decided, I like that house, I'm gonna go set up in there, would they call you and say, hey, would you help us out?
Yeah.
Trying to move this, right?
We get a lot of calls. We don't do it. I just don't have time, and I didn't want to pay the start talking to an insurance agent. It's not worth it. So, but I got a good friend. She's actually one of the club founders, and she lives in Aubrey, Michelle, and that's one of her main sources of income is the bee removal. It's one of those things that's, you want to do it right, sometimes you can, most of the times they're in a place where you get to them, get them out. Sometimes they're a nuisance. Sometimes they're a safety hazard. You just got it.
There was a house down the road from us that they kept going underneath the siding.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll live in a tree for years, and then they reswarm one time, and we still have Africanized genetics in our area, so they can, that nice docile hive that never bothered anybody for 10 years can just one day turn on you. Yeah, and then you got to, then it was like nobody knew, it was great, benefited everybody, they were up ahead, then all of a sudden we become a problem.
So for the younger, I know about the Africanized honeybees, but for the younger
it was
group,
a huge deal.
that would be Norm. He's the younger side.
Yeah, we still, it was a noble thing, you know, the guys were trying to make a hardier bee that was, you know, a good producer, but basically the genetic experiment, you got all the stuff they didn't want in the genetic experiment. Aggressive bees that swarm really easy. You don't want them to swarm easy, you know, because if they swarm, that's their natural way of propagating. So they'll take 65% of the hive with them. So if that's right for your nectar flow, you're trying to make honey, you're going to lose all your workforce. And so there are some people that work with Africanized bees, but that's one of the reasons they're hard to work with, because they swarm real easy, so you can't really build them up to make it commercially viable. But we're right on the cusp. That storm we had a few years ago, that really bad February storm, that pushed them further south. We're kind of right on the edge, because since they don't keep us a big cluster, they can't handle the cold. You know?
But this was actually an issue, right? Because the Africanized bees were taking over
Oh, it was.
the hives here.
It was a little overblown, and you know, now we still got the genetics in there, but we kind of flood them with. I know we do our own queen rearing and queen breeding, but when we're doing that, we've got like 400 commercial hives in the area, so we're flooding that area with our own drones. So we're able to control the genetics a lot better. It's really hard to control genetics because the queen will mate once. She'll fly out of the hive and go about a mile away, and she'll mate with 10 to 15 drones and then come back. So you don't know. You can't control that. So the only way is just to flood the area with. Yes, sir.
I always heard that, I don't know if you covered this, I always heard that if the bee stings you, it dies.
Yes, yes it does. Yeah, that's they don't want to sting. That's their last form of defense. And one thing that's important, if you get stung, the stinger will usually be left behind. You want to try and flick that stinger out. Don't, like, the worst thing you do is take tweezers. Because it's got a venom sac on the end of it. If that stinger stays there, it'll pump naturally for 20 minutes until it's empty. So if you get the stinger out right away, it's going to reduce the effects of the sting. But if you grab it with the tweezers, it's going to act like a hypodermic needle and just shoot it all in there instantly, right before you pull it out. So you want to kind of, we flick them out. You know, yeah. Because that'll make it much worse. But it's also anti-inflammatory. My bum knee, I'll put it, when it starts acting up, I'll put a Z on it and then I'll let it sting there for about 10 minutes.
See, I'd heard about that for like arthritis that people were using.
Yeah, my knuckles do not, they used to crack all the time, they don't anymore. I get stung probably in the hands. The day I'm working these, probably 10 times in the hands. I don't wear gloves. I usually, if I'm wearing a suit, gloves are clumsy, and I'll crush bees, I'll hurt more bees. You know. I encourage people when they're comfortable not to use gloves, because the bees will teach you how to handle them.
It's a hard lesson.
Yeah. You know those lessons that really sink in are the hard ones. Exactly. You learn, and then you get to a point where you just go through the hives and it's not going to bother them at all, and then just go, just do the thing. So it's a hard place to get to sometimes. So, but you know, for those that really fall for it, and some people can't handle it. Their physiology. I don't really swell much when I get stung. Every now and then you go in the hive or something. Yeah, it's going to be bad,
Well, some people get.
but some people they get one and it's
They're
just,
getting hypersensitized.
yeah, it's game over. So.
Well, this hobby may not be for you if that's the case.
Right, yeah, sometimes but we do have some beekeepers that have allergies, you know, you just have to be extra cautious, you know, keep that EpiPen in the truck, really tape up.
Do you actually ever work with a mask, or do you smoke when you?
Oh, all the time, yeah, I guess I should have brought it. Yeah, usually this time of year I start questioning my existence, because that's a triple layer suit that says it's ventilated, but it's
It's not. Not in Texas.
We leave the trucks running this time of year because it's so hot that we'll be in the hives and you can feel that exhaustion coming on. So just as a safety, we leave them running when we're working the hives. So someone, if they feel they can just jump in and cool off. But yeah, it's tough. You know, a lot of times this time of year we'll start working right as sun up and quit about noon.
Do you import queens or do you buy queens?
This was the first year we started raising our own queens. We still buy a little. I mean, we're about to buy some just because they're really cheap this time of year, and just to kind of infuse into our genetics. This was the first year we took that full scale. We were buying queens, or what we would do is buy queen cells. So we buy them like a day or two before the queen was going to emerge. We let her. We install her in our hives and then emerge. I mean, you can get a queen cell for a quarter the price of a mated queen. So when you're talking hundreds, it really makes a difference. But now that we can do that, that was one of the things. That was a big goal of ours, doing our own queens because we want to be sustainable in our own operation and not have to rely on them.
Now you mentioned you had a waiting list. Is there such thing as too many hives?
Yeah, we do have some areas that's one of those, that law is really great, but sometimes you get the bees a little too dense in some areas.
So I'd wondered that you don't have enough wildflowers or whatever for them, right? In that area. So they can starve all of them, right?
Yeah, so in those areas, we started working with Denton CAD this year, so they're starting to let some people commingle their lots. Say if there's 2 5-acres, they'll let them join forces across the fence, and that helps a lot because whereas one would have been required 6 hives, and then they would have been required 6 hives, they join together as 10, and then would require 8. So then we can reduce that footprint. Because I think we have one 80-acre neighborhood that's got 50 hives in it, and it's terrible, but I can't say yes to one guy, no to his neighbor. I don't know how to do that. But working with CAD, we definitely got to reduce that to about 30 hives. So hopefully we can do some more this year. You know, there's just sometimes there's nothing to do about it. So we just feed them over the two, and we treat these yards as, I mean, it'd be like a cattle rancher bringing a bunch of calves out to the property, just letting them fatten up what we can do, grow. I mean, we're bringing in young colonies every spring, and that's our goal, is that grow first so they mature by the time we can do it all over again in the spring to split them up. Our numbers will, we're peaking right now, and we're going to start to decline. Last year we peaked at 1,320 hives, and our bottom was 411. And then we had to build them back up in the spring.
The bees you send to California, and you do that every year, right? So where they go out there and get lazy, lay on the beach?
No.
You have to send them again. And then
They're migratory farm workers. They're out there working.
Okay. But then you have to send them again next year. They don't propagate out there.
Well, they do. I mean, they got 1 million hives in the state, but it takes another 1 million.
Wow.
Just it's the Central Valley in California. Starts right there around Bakersfield, goes all the way to San. I grew up in Texas, San Antonio. I lived in Denton for 20 years, and I thought I knew big time ag. And I got out to that Central Valley the first year with bees, and it's a sea of trees as far as you can see. There's no natural habitat for bees. There's no old oak trees for them to go live in knotholes. So everything got to be brought in. Everything is cultivated, like 100%. It's not like here where you'll have some unapproved land next to row crops. The whole thing is, and so it's really it's commercial. So you have to bring in those commercial pollinators.
So you take them out there and they stay how many months?
Just 4 to 5 weeks.
Oh, 4 or 5 weeks, then you bring them back?
Yeah, they're
Just bring them back.
Yeah, they're just there for the vacation. They're just there for the almond bloom.
We're working.
They're there to pollinate almond trees.
They get a tan, a lot of food.
Yeah.
It's like going on vacation.
Well, it's great. Like that storm we had a few years ago. I got back in California, and that storm hit 2 days later, and I started getting phone calls. I need to order bees, and I lost all my bees. I'm like, oh, great, that was 65 in Fresno, you know. So,
Yeah.
so but it's early. Those trees are growing before our spring has gotten started.
Yeah.
And that's going to get those hives activated too. So when they come back, they're very strong, and we have to split them, sometimes 3 or 4 ways. And then that's when we'll put our new queens in there. So we'll split the hive. That's how we'll propagate our numbers. So in the spring, that's what we're doing. But they build up really well out in California. And they'll pay us the same those 4 to 5 weeks that someone pays to have the bees on their property for 7 months. So,
Do you have to go with the truck out there?
and we have a broker out there that
They unload?
he has a representative. He has a relationship with the growers. I'm sorry, they get offended if you call them a farmer. They're growers. And they can tell if you're not local because if you say almond, you gotta say almond. Almond.
They sell almonds out there.
Yeah.
Those are a lot more expensive than almonds.
Right, yeah. But,
It's a fancy version.
I'm sorry?
So it's the fancy version.
Right, yeah.
You know, a broker, like,
And so he's a broker, and so he's got the relationship, so he knows, which orchard needs what. And he's a full-time nurse, our broker is, and he takes, I think, 10 to 15%. But he's gonna, when the semi gets there, he's gonna unload the semi, and then he goes and spreads it out to the orchards, and then when they give her days, he collects some and brings them back. It was a hard.
Have anybody steal any of your hives?
We haven't had any stolen. It's our 4th year, but it happens out there. It's a thing. There's 2 million hives. So you'll hear about it sometimes in the media, but it's not a random thing. And they recover most of them because it's a pretty tight community out there. But, commercial guys, they know who's running around. But it's easy to steal them because they don't do fences like we do. Right? Just side of the road, just pick them up. All the roads are like on section lines. It's really weird. It's like
My sister lives in Reading. I've never seen that place until I flew out to Sacramento. Drove up to her place. Man, I've never seen so many trees on my life.
Yeah, it's impressive. Like when the almonds are blooming, it's incredible. It's just white blooms as far as you can see. It's really beautiful. The only other thing that's really pretty like this, canola up in the Dakotas. So make the prairies look like gold. That's most U.S. honey is canola honey from the Dakotas. So Texas honey, most of it's tallow honey from the Gulf Coast.
So the honey y'all produce, you partner with specific people that use your honey for other products, right? Like,
Yeah, you can make a little bit.
beer.
We tried with the beer guys, and I don't know. I guess I'm priced too high. I don't know. With
I
the
thought there
Denton
was a
County Brewery,
partnership
it's.
at one point. Which one? What? With Denton County Brewing? No.
We
Oh,
tried
no,
3
we
or 4
tried.
times with them, and then
No.
they never. I don't know. Had meetings set up, and they no show and whatnot. So it's hard
They're always
when they don't.
They're always
respect Yeah. But there's a new one coming to town in Armadillo space.
Yes, there
We were
is.
talking to them about maybe doing it. Union Bear out of Plano.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then there's some meaderies too, but the honey required, I usually tell them to just go to like a big honey packer. They're not going to realize the benefits of local honey.
Right.
Because they're going to heat it up and it's going to
Take out.
yeah, it's basically just sugar to them at that point. So I get a much better price on the honey for,
So it's bad to eat it, or is it bad to eat?
well, you're gonna lose. Honey's got a lot of natural antibodies.
Right.
Like, the Department of Health Services, their guidelines, we can bottle honey if you want. I mean, you don't have to have a state inspected facility because it's so clean and healthy. Like the natural antibodies in there, the only time you have to have state inspected is if you heat the honey, because they know at that point all the natural antibodies die.
Oh, so your patron
Pasteurizing, yeah, once it's
I
pasteurized.
was getting there.
Yeah, so, I would argue there's more benefit to raw and unfiltered honey than there is to local honey. I mean, they're starting to say that the local pond thing isn't any big deal thing, but it's the benefit you're getting is that, the unfiltered, you're gonna get a lot more particulate in there, those little pollens and rats and stuff, and propolis, those are all good for the antibodies. And once you cook it up, some argue, some say 97, some say 120, that you can heat it before. If we get ours crystallized, we'll get an oil drum, the whole thing just turns solid, so we have no choice, we've got to heat it that way. So, but we don't go above 120. And I don't know, my logic behind it is it's not going to go into 100 because I know that our hives get up to 120 degrees pretty regularly. So it's not ruining it inside the hive. So yeah, I feel good about that.
Well, it's about time.
Okay.
But
yeah, I'm an introvert, but you know, you get me on bees, I'll go all day.
well, one question though, what can we do to help out?
Buy California almonds. No.
If it was in California. Well, but wildflowers, right? And things
Wildflowers,
like that.
you know, when you're doing landscaping, one of the things I'm really liking is a lot of people are moving the vitex away from crepe myrtles. The crepe myrtles do nothing for the bees. The vitex, when it blooms, it's like a time when everything else is dry and it gives them a lot. They're the purple one, vitex. It's a purple flower. I know Razor Ranch uses a lot in their landscaping.
Okay, I've seen those before.
Yeah, but it gets to be like a big tree, bush kind of thing.
I thought that was like a
Vitex. V-I-T-E-X. Yeah, you know, it grow up like a big crepe myrtle bush. You know, it doesn't bloom as long, you know, and colors on, but they really love it. You know, stay away from annuals. If you want to help, you know, more perennials, you know, because they actually need pollination. Annuals don't. These will ignore it. You know, if you really want to know, you know, just a nice morning, if you go to the nursery, you can see which plants the bees are going to, you know, on a nice day. Just watch them, you know, because they'll be in it. There'll probably be a lot of bees in there. If you start looking for them, you'll realize how many, you know, are like flying around there. You know. But yeah, and Honeybees Unlimited is our company. We've got a YouTube channel if y'all want to see some of the adventures. It's Honeybees Unlimited. And if y'all have any questions, contact us there, or if you want to share our contact with you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Honeybees Unlimited.
Honeybees Unlimited, yeah.
We have the greatest gift for you. You'll be so glad you came.
Oh, okay.
We have our Kiwanis Club.
Oh,
I know you both drink coffee.
Oh, okay.
So here is our slogan. We build. And the benefits from our club go to support these tea clubs, the local high school. So think of us when you're drinking your coffee before dawn, because I know where you're going to be when the sun comes up.
That's right.
It's a great program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Very interesting program. Daniel, we learned something when you book somebody. You're going to learn something new. First Thursday tomorrow at my house, 6:30. Bring what you want to drink. Who's number 9? Where's that list? Who has the list?
List right here.
Oh, Daniel has it. Daniel has it. He's behind you.
Fritz.
Oh, okay. And so that's 6:30 tomorrow. Bring what you want to drink. I'll have water. I'll have hamburgers and hot dogs and fixies. If you want anything else to eat, bring it. And we'll see you tomorrow at 6:30.
You want to go ahead and bring up the next slide real quick?
Oh, we got another slide?
Yeah, we got one more slide. Did it?
It doesn't
Okay.
help to point at this. I got to point. Who was this first name? Bradley? I've got him in my. There we go.
Okay, so next week we've got Annetta Ramsey, and yes, I fixed the word story. So the story gang, she's going to be talking to us about that. Don't go look ahead. And then the 19th and the 26th are still kind of open, but I think I'm going to have the Denton County Brewing Company coming on the 26th.
Nice. We'll talk to them about honey.
Right,
Chocolate
we
mountain
should,
honey.
yeah.
I'll tell them, I'll start coming here if you put honey in your beer.
And then August 2nd is going to be Becky Vickers, who is the author of the Goatman's Bridge book.
Okay.
So she's going to be coming talking to us. She's got a couple other books, and she actually does some haunted stuff here in Denton as well. I was going to do that for October, but I got her for August. She's
We'll
getting
take it. We'll take it. Thank you all. Don't forget First Thursday. Don't forget the meeting at noon today. We can see you at noon, Thursday and Wednesday.